Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Talk with Antonio. I am your host, Antonio. And today's episode, also, I want to apologize. I didn't record last week. I've been pretty busy right now. I've been dealing with, life and such. But yeah, I'm back this week. And this week is going to be a half and half episode. First, I want to talk about the story around has been going around with Walmart stealing tips. And I've been reading a lot of stories about this. Isn't like the first time I've heard of Walmart doing that kind of shady shit. And the other one is talking about next month is going to be June, and it's going to be the first year anniversary of the tragedy with Oceangate's Titan, that submersible who went down to quote unquote went to explore the Titanic, when in reality all of them died, including the CEO of Oceangate in that implosion, which is a tragedy. But I will talk about that, and I'm going to take some, you could say, some massive digs at that guy. So, well, first and foremost, right now, let's talk about delivery driving. I've been reading a lot of stories here on Google, Reddit especially, because, Reddit, there's like you talk with, you have like a lot of chats there. You talk about other people, questions in regards to what's going on with this and that. And I was reading one right now that really caught my eye. And this one really, really fucking pissed me off. And there's this one right here. Let me read it. This one is from the page of it's called from Spark Driver. The person who posted this, no names mentioned, by the way. I'm just going to read what it says here. And it says, and I quote, Walmart app is taking your tips away. And it says here, I am not a Spark driver, but I am a customer that uses Walmart grocery delivery. I always leave a good tip, or so I thought. I usually do no contact delivery, so I don't see or speak to the delivery person. But today I had to sign for an alcohol purchase, so I answered, and the woman that delivered something seemed kind of annoyed. She wasn't rude or anything, but I just kind of got a vibe, And I thought maybe she was just having a bad day, or just assuming that everyone hates me. But I decided to check the app anyway to double check the tip. I had tipped her $15 in the app when I checked out, but the final receipt showed no tip. I look into my other past orders for months. Walmart has been removing the tips I leave for the drivers. It also doesn't show any option to edit the tip or rate the driver. I called Walmart to see if they could fix it, and they submitted a ticket to tech support. But I feel so horrible that I did not notice this sooner. I tried calling the driver, but too much time had passed. The IG number wasn't valid anymore. I wish I could find the driver to cash app her the tip. I just wanted to make sure everyone is using this app or making deliveries knows that this is an issue. So if you're not gonna get tipped, it might be because Walmart is literally the worst. This is the last straw for me. I will not be shopping at Walmart anymore. I will use Instacart instead. It's more expensive, but at least they give the drivers their tips. Also, if by any chance anyone delivering under the name Kmart had a large order, no tip order today, please reach out to me so I can tip you via Cash App or Venmo. Reading that Walmart does is it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation, people, has been doing this fucking shady shit. What's up with that? I mean, isn't it enough that... Okay, let's think about this for a second. Why is it that the higher-ups, I don't know who is the CEO of Walmart right now, but why do I get a feeling that they know about this and they just pretend like to not know anything about it? I'll give you another example. For example, when I started with DoorDash back in 2019, I do remember hearing about a tipping scandal that happened, that they were not giving the tips towards the drivers. I did not know about this, but when they tip you on the app, they give you an X amount. But they say that it all started. If correct me if I'm wrong, people who listen to this, they say that that started like maybe like in 2015, and I got in March of 2019, like about a month later. I'll never forget this. I didn't even know what was going on with that, but I believe it was April or May. I don't remember exactly, but this was pre-COVID though. I remember I picked up an order from Popeyes at I believe it was I think it was Burbank, and then I delivered the order to this dude at a factory on Glendale in Glendale on San Fernando Road. And when I got there, the dude was super chill. And when I handed him the food, he gave me, I believe, was $10 in tip. And he says that I'm going to give you and this is what he said to me. I'll remember this. I remember this very vividly. He said to me, "Hey, I'm going to give you this money because right now DoorDash is not giving the tips to the drivers." I was like, "What?" I didn't even know about that. Kind of find out like about a few months later. I think it was Flint, Marco. No, I'm sorry. Why did I say Flint? What the fuck? Marco something was suing DoorDash, and it was a class action lawsuit, and I was actually involved in that, and I got a check through the mail. I think it was like for $450, and I was like, "Oh shit!" The extra money that I got from DoorDash. And even though I went in a little late, I was still involved in the lawsuit, which was pretty awesome if you ask me. And I spoke to a few friends of mine about this. I spoke to my girl, and I spoke to my parents, and I showed my parents this thing. And my mother believes that Walmart is doing this. She actually, I kind of had a discussion with that. I met up with her, and she says that for a while, because sometimes people tip, some people don't tip. I've noticed that, and she says that she believes that Walmart is doing this shady shit. I mean, I don't know. All I can say is if that's the case, we have to wait and see. And another thing I've noticed that this is the one thing that a lot of people have experienced, and is the tip baiting. And this is something that really, really fucking pisses me off, because I used to experience that in DoorDash a couple of times. No, actually, hold on. I believe it was more than a couple of times. Some lady, no. This is how it happened. This guy was a fucking liar. I remember when DoorDash, when I used to work in, it used to be like one giant area. It used to be Studio City, Burbank, Encino, Sherman Oaks. Used to be one giant area, and also Santa Clarita was to be one giant area. But I believe it was later on in the next year or so that they divided Studio City, Valley Village, and Burbank. Santa Clarita and Humphreys. I'm like, what the fuck is Humphreys? Basically, is the east side of Santa Clarita. And I've noticed I didn't believe it at first, but east side of Santa Clarita, people are so fucking they are so fucking stingy. While on the west side, like Valencia, Stevenson Ranch, Castic, people actually tip pretty well there. Well, I did work one time. Only one when they divided Santa Clarita and Humphreys. Only worked in Humphreys one time, and that was in the evening. Boy, did I waste my fucking time there. I only got one. I believe it was maybe 3 orders, and none of them tipped. And I was like, thanks for wasting my time. And in regards to this happened to me one time, and this was tip baiting. I got an order from Denny's. It's in Santa Clarita, but it's on the west. I close to Stevenson Ranch, I believe, on Lyons, or I forget. It's just been a while. It's been a while since I've been there. So I went there and I picked up his order and I delivered it to Canyon Country. And I was like, okay. And when I got there, and all the houses, apartments have the Ring doorbell. And I'll never forget this. This guy, he ordered like a shitload of food because in a previous podcast, I did get the same thing, Denny's. And this fucking cocksucker, 2K baby, only gave me $1 He ordered like a shitload of food. Fucking stingy bastard. And this guy, another fucking stingy bastard, when I delivered his food in Canyon Country, it was a nice house. A very nice crib. 2 floors, had all these fucking nice ass cars. And when I got there and I delivered it, and when I was walking to my car and I was saying how was it, and then I see how much was the total, like in trip and tip, and that's another thing I want to talk about after this story. When I looked at my tip, this guy tipped me $1, and I was like, "What? $1 motherfucking dollar? Fuck, man!" And I did yell it. I didn't care. And I guess he caught it on his Ring doorbell. And then we know how people back then used to give like reviews on the app and DoorDash, say above and beyond. There was a couple of people who said that I went above and beyond. And then the same guy who caught me saying that I only gave him 1 star because he was complaining about the tip. I was going to give him cash back after what I heard him. I pulled back. That is a fucking lie. He did not come out at all. And yes, I did complain because I know people are going to say, well, why don't you get a better job? It was just in the heat of the moment that I was so angry. That to me, I think that's an example of tip baiting, which I think it's utter bullshit. I think that should be fucking illegal. And this is the one thing I noticed from DoorDash is that they usually don't tell you how much people are tipping. They say X amount, including tips. I think they should separate it because I've also noticed they do this with Spark. They tell you how much is the base pay and tips. This is another thing that I don't like. I've noticed it from Walmart that I don't like. And I think they should switch it. They should stop giving the power way too much to the customer. You know what I'm saying? And it takes like 24 hours for the tip to get approved. Well, Instacart only takes like 2 hours. Which is like, okay. And this is another one right here. It's called Doug McMillan stole $20 from me for his yacht. And it says here, and I quote, it's 2 stops, 1 pickup, 1 drop off. Basically, the pickup is to go to the store and drop it off at this place. And the trip is 8.9 miles, which is not that far, for $30.14. And I was like, oh shit. And come to read, it says it was a curbside pickup for 41 items, mind you. And it says the delivery, which is the base pay, was $9.23. And it says here tips pending $20.91. That's pretty high. And then kind of find out that later on, the trip was paid, but you know how much they lowered it? It went from $20. It was exactly from $20.91 to $3.98. I'm like, what the hell? 1 second, people. Sorry, it was a helicopter here. It's always like that where I live. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, what? And I do remember in the past, I believe it was with DoorDash. Again, some lady was complaining that I didn't get her utensils or something like that. And supposedly they gave me $5 and they took it back and they gave me $0. And other times I've noticed that, I don't know if people do this just to troll the drivers. I remember one time they gave me 25 cents as a tip. I remember I told my friends about this, even my girl. They were like, That is extremely fucked up. And I'll give you an example. And this is, I don't know if I've mentioned this in the past, but I'm going to mention it. If I haven't, I'm going to say it right now. It was Christmas Eve of 2021. I was working in DoorDash, and I remember this one guy who ordered Taco Bell. And I was like, okay. And come to find out, I went to the place. I forget which was the street, but it was like kind of like those newfangled, like new. It wasn't even an apartment building. It was just a regular building. And then the guy called me saying that they gave me the wrong address and saying, "Oh, I wanted my food," and I was like, "Okay, give me your address." When in reality, I just took the address and I said no, because like I've heard stories of bad things happening to drivers. And I called Dasher Support that day, and I said, "No, I'm gonna deliver at this place because this guy called me and he says that," and he just gave me a bullshit story, and I just delivered it there, and I just left, and I just did my job. And this guy gave me a 50-cent tip, 50 cents worth of tip. And I was like, really, motherfucker? But at the same time, he said that was not his address. So I guess we were even. I didn't get a good tip, and he didn't get his food. Yes, I know it's childish, but he didn't get his food. He didn't give me a good tip, so he didn't get his food. So he can go fuck himself, And it's just like when people do that, I don't know. I've always said that. Why is it that they feel like they want to troll drivers? And I think it's totally unacceptable. And a lot of people I've seen here in the comments have said that they should they should make tip baiting illegal. I mean, should they? Like, I've been reading also, there's another one that really caught my eye here. And this was like 20, I don't know exactly when was it. So, okay, this is what it says here. Spark 2018 versus 2024. It says here that 2018, people used to make $2,000 a week easy, $30 to $40 orders. No one knew about the app. No Vinnies. No, a DDI was in charge. My curbside ride when you receive the order, I don't know, might be wrong on this one. No items found, metric, no triple orders, had to wait next Tuesday for pay. Now in 2024, hard to make $500 a week, oversaturated, more non-tippers, Walmart took over DDI, curbside can only be started 2 to 3 minutes before pickup. One exists, instant pay. Let me know if I'm missing anything. And a lot of people have commented and says, so just more evidence that everything Walmart touches turns to shit. It says here, and this is something that kind of made me think. And I would say, yeah, that could be a factor. A fellow who goes with a Soul Taker said this. I put some of the blame on con creators. Once con creators on YouTube and TikTok started blabbing about their fucking mouths, I noticed my market got super oversaturated. Another dude said, social media has ruined every opportunity out there. Doesn't matter what industry, as soon as a new type of gold mine is discovered, a million idiots will be out there spilling the beans. Didn't used to be this way in pre-social media days. You could go months or even years before things got too saturated. What we need is a campaign to thumbs down all these creators, support their content or whatever. Give me 1 second. Again, I apologize, people. It's this stupid clock. I'm recording, and this thing fucking gets activated. I'm sorry, people. Another dude said, answering in regards to social media, another dude said they do it so because they make money from clicks. Another dude said this. Before, I could be anywhere in my zone and get anything as long as I'm available and not a drop off, which was perfect because by the time I dropped off the last order, I don't have to rush back to the parking lot. I will get something during the rush hour and drive back and do a quick DoorDash order, make it back to pick up before the 45-minute mark. Every shopping order will also give you the extra earning of $5 more depending on the amount of items, so even a $15 shopping would be worth it. This was when DDI was in control. I guess they value our labor work. Now I have to literally be on the parking lot to get anything, so I can't multi-app. By the time I drop off that third order, I'm rushing back to make it in time for the rush hour. Sometimes I'm like 3 minutes late and I get nothing, and I pray for an as soon as possible order that might be good and not shit so I could snatch it as it is. Another dude said, very much agree with this. This is why I don't understand multi-apping with Spark in its current condition. You can't. You have to be back in the store before the 20 mark, or as you wait as another order that's usually awful. If you're really lucky, you can get a shop order, but you have to be in the shop loop, which does exist for that to happen. Back in 2018, the mark was for 45 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, so you had enough time to get back to the store, and you could multi-app. Not only is the mark now 20, but you still cannot start a trip until the 45-second mark, which is the dumbest and most inconvenient thing ever. And but you know, all the things I read here about Spark, the non-tippers, that's something that some cultures don't believe in tipping. My friend, I think she says that Armenians I take it back, not Armenians. I don't know which culture do not believe in tipping. They say that my friend Gilbert, he went to Japan. He says that tipping in Japan is considered a sign of disrespect. Yes, I understand that, but here, a lot of people have noticed that even with DoorDash, some act very entitled when it comes to the tipping thing. Okay, I have said this once, and I'll say it again. Tipping is not an obligation because it isn't. However, if you're doing a good job, you're doing everything, you're trying to do everything, get everything on time, but somehow people won't give a shit, and they'll just give you nothing. That to me is like a slap to the face, because some drivers do take their job seriously. Some drivers don't give a flying fuck. You know, and it's sad because, like I said, some people do this full time, but they have to leave very early. Some start at 7 a.m. so they can get more orders until 10 p.m., you know? And I do believe that some people just take all day. I've seen some people, I remember when I used to work for DoorDash, some people said that they used to make like $2,000, $3,000 a week. Oh, I don't know. I would believe 1,000 something a week is more believable. But now I've been seeing a lot of comments on DoorDash. You can't even make at least $100 a day, which is to me super difficult. And a lot of people blame inflation. I would say yes, that will be a factor. But it's just some people just don't want to tip at all. And also, okay, this is something I've noticed. I don't know how it works with Spark, but I noticed that with DoorDash, Jesus fucking Christ, the amount that you have to pay, no wonder people just don't want to tip. I understand that, but at the same time, if you don't have enough money to tip, then why bother ordering online with the app? And I noticed that with DoorDash, the ridiculous charges, taxes, delivery fee, all these hidden taxes, you know, and that's why it makes it so expensive. And the highest ever tip I ever got one time, and that's what my girl says, it's a unicorn. It was in Malibu. I believe it was last year before I got fired. I think it was summer. It was for a restaurant called Howdy's. It's on Malibu Canyon Road or Malibu Colony. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. It's like that by that new plaza where that new Whole Foods market is at. I remember I picked up an order, Howdy's. It didn't say how much it was. But it said that it was just an order from Howdy's to go pick it up and delivered it like kind of like near by almost like close by Trancas, like near Broad Beach, almost not that far from there. So I went there and delivery was like, I believe it was 15, which was not bad. And so I went there and I got there and I delivered it. It was a pretty big order, kind of like someone like I would say like similar to catering. And when I got there and I delivered it, $109. I was like, what? It was the tip. And that and they incremented the tip. They increased the tip. And I was like, whoa, that is fucking awesome. That was a unicorn, like my girl says. And when I got that, I was like, oh my God. I was so happy that I showed her. She was like, wow, that's great. That was a unicorn. And I was like, oh man, that is awesome. That was like the only time. And I think like the second highest tip I ever got in DoorDash was $50, I believe. But that was pretty much it. Like, you didn't see those type of tips too often, really. And with Spark right here, it is absolutely ridiculous that people actually do the tip baiting. They give you an X amount, and then they cross it out, and they give you a lower. I don't think that to me should be a fucking crime. 1 second. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry. Every fucking time that I'm trying to do something with my podcast, I'm sorry. I'm just being raw right now. Unscripted. Every fucking time there's always a helicopter running, passing by. Ugh, I'm sorry. But yeah, and with Spark right now, I think they should just like kind of like stop giving too much power to the customer. And I've also noticed that with Spark, it says here that it takes 24 hours to get the tip get approved, which I think they should really like consider like put a stop to that. That's just giving too much power to the customer, you know. And I'll say that with Instacart, they say they used to be like that. My girl says, since she does Instacart, she says that before it used to take 24 hours for the tip to get approved. Now it's only 2 hours. I was like, whoa, that's even better. Well, Walmart, they just take their sweet time. They say that I've seen a lot of people go out here and say, oh, that Walmart is going to take a notice of that, when in reality, they don't do jack shit at all. And let me see. What's another interesting thing here I've noticed from the Spark? Let me see. This is another thing that says here that has anyone actually received the extra earnings? It says here that it's now for add additional earnings, which is not true. Not true at all. And you know, that's another thing I've noticed. When they want a certain thing at Walmart and they take their fucking sweet time. And I've seen it on YouTube. That when they want, especially with alcohol, deodorant, baby formula, it's under lockup. You have to press a button to call an associate. I remember one time I went to go buy, I think it was at a Walmart in, I think it was West Hills. I don't remember exactly. A while back. I went to go buy a bottle of whiskey, and it was under lockup, so I had to call an associate. I pressed the button. I waited almost 15 minutes, and no one even bothered to show up. And it's really annoying. Even with detergent, people have stooped so low in stealing shit, which in my opinion, I think that's what kills it in everything. You can't do this because you have to wait for the associate to give you the whatever the purchase that's it's behind the lock on the locked door. It's ridiculous, and that's why I like ugh. And here's another one right here. This was for a trip. The trip was $18.39. The trip earnings. The tip, it was $12.95, and they crossed it out and they lowered it to $3. See what I mean? People who do that kind of shit, I swear to you, they need to get fucking slapped. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. Sorry if I keep repeating myself. People should stop doing tip baiting. Like, I don't know how it is with with being a waiter or bartending. Like people like that are nothing but scumbags because they're toying with the driver's salary. You know what I'm saying? They should not. The customers should not be allowed to do that. But at the same time, as my mom said when I had a discussion with her when I met up, she says that it's Walmart doing that. Could it be? I don't know. I mean, it is possible. Like right now, what's going on with Walmart, and if people start complaining more, what's going on? Maybe there'll be more of a class action lawsuit. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong, perhaps. So, doing a gig thing. It's very complicated. It's a double-edged sword because a lot of people nowadays, no one likes to do the regular 9-to-5 job. Like people say, oh, get a real job. And that's another thing I've been fucking fed up. Back then when I was active in TikTok, I remember I posted a video on TikTok. Some fucking asswipe saying, I just posted saying that this was my first order and it was pretty slow and everything, blah, blah, blah. And people total strangers started saying, why don't you get a real job? I had a 9-to-5 job. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. If people just want to come on and be dicks, go be a dick elsewhere. It's shit like that. I don't understand what is it with these. I don't know, the guy who said get a real job saying, tell me all this stuff. He looked like he was pretty old. I firmly believe he was a baby boomer. And I will get into that some other time. But to me, baby boomers are probably the most out of touch generation that I've ever had to meet. Because I get so sick and tired of those same people saying, "Oh, at your age, I had a job. I had a job. I had a house. I had everything." Yeah, but it can't be said the same thing for this era. Some people have 3 jobs just to make ends meet, to pay their rent, pay their car bills, pay their bills and phone bills. Doesn't matter. Back then, I've had discussions with other people saying that the economy back then was designed for the baby boomers. Like I said, I don't know. This is just my opinion. But it's just like that. Like people like that say, "Oh, get a real job." I cannot stand those people whenever I hear that. Dude, just because you're an independent contractor doesn't mean that you're not making a living. If you're doing something, you're picking up, you're making a delivery, and you're getting paid, that's a job nonetheless. It's just stupid idiots like that say, "Oh, get a real job." Shut the fuck up. I immediately shut them up because I always say that you people are all fucking out of touch. But you can't win an argument with those crazy people. So, but in terms of what's going on with Walmart right now, all I can say is this. I don't know what would What would Sam Walton say? I firmly believe, this is just my opinion, I firmly believe that if Sam Walton were alive right now and see what's going on with the store that he created in Bentonville, Arkansas, and see what it has become, I think he would be ashamed. It's just like the same thing with Walt Disney. How would Walt Disney react to see what Disneyland has become? Because Disneyland in reality now is only catered for the super rich. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that. And like right now, I saw another one. It says here, extra earnings. Now they're just flat out lying. So where are the extra earnings? It says here, it was a $20 trip for 15 miles. It was one pickup, one drop off. It says here, extra earnings. And it says here, where's the extra earnings? Nothing. That they're just lying. Let me see. It says here, extra earnings. It says here, there never really has been. Some extreme situations will be out usually just to subtract for the delivery. It says here, another one says, the point on this one is that they list, quote, extra earnings on the overview of the order, but none of the order details. There's no extra earnings line item. And I do think that if Walmart is actually doing all this kind of shit just to trick these drivers, just to pick up the orders that no one wants to take, because I have noticed a lot of I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube with people saying that they just don't want to take orders, and this is another thing that I've noticed that with Spark right now. This will be for another episode because this one's going to be a long one. It says on Reddit that they are supposedly checking IDs for the Spark drivers because there has been stories, like I said, I think I mentioned a while back about the whole Venezuelans are taking over, when in reality that could be further from the truth. It's just like, it's not Venezuelans. It's just other people using fake identities, buying fake accounts so they could make all these shop and deliver, so they could just take all the money. And I see people use something like they've used. People say that it's a conspiracy theory. Like, I probably, like, I don't know, but I've seen people how they fucking trick the system, just taking the high pay orders, and they take it for themselves and just leave out like the rest are just like shitty orders. And supposedly Walmart says that they are very aware of what's going on. When in reality, they don't care at all. They're just doing this to say, oh, we're going to take a report. When in reality, it's a fucking lie. Nothing is being done about that. Yeah, this is what I... Nothing is being done about that. So, Walmart, in my opinion, needs to get their shit straight. And if they're fucking doing that and stealing the driver's tips, me personally, I think they should be held accountable for. And, I mean, who knows? Will they ever be held accountable? Probably never, because number one, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation and they have these hotshot bulldog lawyers. And you know, if they have hotshot bulldog lawyers, they'll get away with anything. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see what happens with Walmart down the road. And I really, really do hope they get held accountable for that. You know? So let's see what happens. Now, on to the next story. This to me is it's a damn tragedy, because what was the purpose of that? And what do I mean by that? I will be talking about the ill-fated Oceangate's ill-fated Titan that wanted to explore where where the Titanic is supposedly where the Titanic is at, supposedly with that submersible that they were going to go down and see the Titanic. And I don't know, every time I think about that, it's just like I get like I'm not claustrophobic because I'm not, but every time I think about that, I see the whole thing of the Titan, Oceangate's Titan. It's I think that shit was fucking built by a 5-year-old or submersible, whatever that fucking shit is. And let's talk about the ill-fated Titan. But it was made by the diving company Oceangate. It says here, Oceangate Incorporated is an American privately owned company based in Everett, Washington that provided cruise submersibles for tourism, industry, research, and exploration. The company was founded in 2009 by Stockton Rush and Guillermo Solheim. Solheim says that he left the company in 2013. And it says here that on June 18th, 2023, the Titan imploded during a voyage to the Titan wreck site, killing all 5 occupants on board, including the CEO, Stockton Rush. It says here that an international search and rescue operation was launched, and on June 22nd, the wreckage was found on the seabed about 500 meters, which is 1,600 feet from the Titanic wreck site. On June 21st, it was announced that Oceangate's Everett's office was closed indefinitely. And on July 6th, Oceangate suspended all operations. It says here that since August of 2023, Gordon Garnier has led the company as CEO. And it says here that until official investigations, the shutdown is completed, the company is completely out of business. And I've read a lot of articles with this guy, Stockton Rush. I mean, this guy, when he invented that submersible, the Titan, it said, they have pictures here. It's the Cyclops 1. It's on display at Seattle's Museum of History and Industry. This guy right here, Stockton Rush, he was born on March 31st, 1962. It says here that he was born into a wealthy family in San Francisco, California, and his mother was of native San Francisco, while his father was born in Philadelphia. His maternal grandfather was businessman Ralph K. Davis. His maternal grandmother, Louis Davis, was a philanthropist and a namesake of San Francisco's Louis M. Davis Symphony Hall. Though through his father, he was a descendant of 2 signers of the Declaration of Independence, Richard Stockton and physician Benjamin Rush. He says that he wanted to become an astronaut and be the first person on Mars. And he had an interest in aviation and aquatics. He began scuba diving at age 12 and became a commercial pilot at 18 years old. And I ain't gonna lie to you, all the things that I read about this guy, excuse me, he was a pretty intelligent dude. They say that he had a lot of charisma, but they say that he also had a lot of arrogance. He showed a lot of arrogance and it was bitter. And a lot of things have come out. It says here that Stockton Rush recklessness was an open secret that nobody could do anything about. It says here that he had a history of shirking safety regulations ahead of the Titan's implosion. But even as industry experts raised concerns about the submersible, Rush pushed forward. You know that's the Titan submersible. I saw the inside when this guy was taking a video of it. It is so fucking claustrophobic. And the way that people sat, the materials they used, what was a carbon fiber, would begin to crack. And they're saying that this dude he claimed that he bought carbon fiber that was beyond their shelf life from Boeing, but Boeing came out and like immediately saying that, nope, We never sold anything from Boeing to Stockton Rush. And it says here that this is what it says. This is what it says here. Let me see. It says here that the tragedy of Titan submersible is an all too familiar fate. A daring inventor pushes the bounds of science, technology, and safety to their limits in an act of bold innovation that ultimately backfires, killing its creator in the process. I think he was just fucking reckless. All the things that he did, and I have here my papers. It says here that one of the reasons that why the submarine was not able to be certified as the Titan was deemed unconventional, and deviated from established standards. However, Stockton Rush emphasized that this did not imply that Oceangate failed to meet the required standards in any relevant areas, and that classification agencies hindered innovation through the stringent measures, such as the hubris of a billionaire who thought that a spherical, quote, tube, despite a lack of structural integrity for the purpose of pressure distribution, was in any way innovative. Now, this guy was, I would say, this guy was full of himself. I mean, look, I will say this. I'll give him credit. He was a smart man, but he was reckless. He was reckless, and he was also a narcissist, I would say. He was a narcissist. And the thing is that the one thing that I don't know, every time I think about and I see the pictures of, and they shown on YouTube of how the implosion occurred and the people all sitting down all cramped up and shit, it was I don't know, I've let me look it up right here. It says okay. And you know, it's funny. And oh yeah, I also forgot another thing that Stockton Rush showed in a video of how the Titan was inside. Excuse me. Was that he used a modified Logitech F710 wireless game controller that was used to steer the Titan. And the guy was showing like the video was like, say, oh, I could throw it around. It was Bluetooth. How is it possible that this guy used a wireless game controller to control that fucking ship? Or whatever, submarine, submersible, whatever. That makes you think a lot, you know? Like when I see that game control, like, you've got to be kidding me. I don't know if actual submarine, like I said, I don't know. But if actual submarines have gone down to where the Titanic is at, I mean, submarines, like professional built submarines, that's a different story right there, people. They had that they have everything. It's professionally built. Everything is like professionally built. Everything is like handled by experts. Stockton Rush was just a fucking narcissist. And I was like, ugh. And I don't know. It's just like, it says here that on the safety, it says here that because the Titan operated in international waters, it did not carry passengers from a port, it was not subject to safety regulations. The vessel was not certified as seaworthy by any regulatory agency or third-party organization. It says here that David Pogue, who completed the expedition in 2022 as a part of CBS Sunday Morning Feature, said all the passengers who entered Titan signed a waiver confirming their knowledge that it is an, quote, experimental vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. It says here that TV producer Mike Rice who also completed the expedition, signed the waiver, mentioned the death 3 times on page 1. Oh my God, this guy was. And yes, it says here that in 2022, Rush told CBS News, and he said, and I quote, "At some point, safety is just pure waste." Can you fucking believe he said that? I mean, if you want to be safe, just don't get out of bed. Don't get in your car. Don't do anything. He said that in a 2021 interview. He also said this: I've broken some rules to make time. I think I've broken with them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium. There's a rule, you don't do that. Well, I did. It says here that there was more concerns. I don't like that. This guy, what he did is I don't know. It's just, do I have respect for the guy? No. And the people that died, besides this fucking piece of shit, was Shahzad Dawood, a Pakistani-British businessman of Dawood Hercules Corporation and philanthropist, a son of Pakistani businessman Hussein Dawood, and grandson of Pakistani industrialist Ahmed Dawood. Suleiman Dawood, the son of Shahzad Dawood, he was a student of University of Starclide. His mother, Christine Dawood, gave up a seat for him to go down. And I was reading that Suleiman was scared that he had like I believe that he had claustrophobia. He didn't want to go down, but he just wanted to be with his dad. It also says another one is Hamish Harding, age 58. Oh, sorry, Shahzad Dawood was 48. Suleiman Dawood was 19. Hamish Harding was 58. 58-year-old British businessman, aviator, and space tourist. He had previously descended into the Challenger Deep, broken the Guinness World Record for fastest circumnavigation of the Earth, and flown into space in 2022 on the Blue Origin NS-21. Paul-Henri Nargolet, age 77, a former French Navy commander, diver, submersible pilot, member of the French Institute for Research and Exploration of the Sea, and director of the underwater research for EM Group and RMS Titanic Incorporated, that owns salvage rights to the wreckage site. Nargolet led them more than 35 expeditions to the wreck, supervised the recovery of thousands of artifacts, and was widely considered the leading authority of the wreck site. And last but not least, the last victim, to me he's not a victim, the last scumbag, if you ask me, is Stockton Rush, 61, an American submersible pilot, engineer, and businessman. He was a chief executive officer and co-founder of Oceangate. And I have another thing right here. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. There's another one right here. And this was from, this is Oceangate's highlights the hubris of billionaires. It says here, while tragedy is never a welcome thing, and 5 people lost their lives, the most enlightening discourse arising of this matter is the seething arrogance of a billionaire like Stockton Rush, who truly believed that his design was not only safe enough to reach a Titanic wreckage, but that charging $250,000 for commercial use and inviting clients to sign death waivers was a good idea. This avoidable, albeit totally accidental disaster has cost millions of dollars and completed the attention of the world, and seems to showcase the time and attention afforded to billionaires seeking, quote, thrill and adventure over a humanitarian crisis such as the capsizing of a refugee boat, which was worryingly mishandled by the Greek Coast Guard. Since the early 2010s, there has been prominent and ongoing humanitarian challenge involving irregular mitigation and dangerous voyages undertaken by refugees across the Mediterranean Sea, primarily from North Africa and the Middle East to Europe. This crisis is fueled by a range of factors, including armed conflicts, political instability, human rights violations, poverty, and limited opportunities in their home countries. Desperate for safety and improved lives, refugees and migrants frequently embark on hazardous journeys aboard overcrowded and unsafe boats, often with the help of human smugglers. That right there, it is true. Look, I don't have anything against billionaires, because I don't. I mean, they've worked hard to achieve what they are. Yes, some have been born into a wealthy family, and the people like Stockton Rush were literally born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And look what he did. He just wanted the thrill, just wanted to sample thrill, because everyone, he said in another video one time that people in the world say they know 3 words supposedly. One of them is Coca-Cola, God, and Titanic. And this guy right here, I don't know. It's just like he's just I don't know. There's a lot of things here that, like, I know, like I said, I don't want like right now, next month is a tragedy, because it is. It's been a year right now since this horrible tragedy happened. But I feel for those other people who died. But what do I feel about Stockton Rush? To me, I lost a lot of respect, because he cut corners in terms of safety, because he wanted to go down to explore the fucking Titanic. And this is another thing that I want to say. If I want to see the wrecks, pictures or videos of the wrecks of the Titanic, here's what I'll do. If I'm in bed, I'll get up, I'll sit my ass on my chair, turn on my computer, go to Google, put Titanic pictures, and they'll show you right there. Or if you want to go to YouTube, or if you want to go to YouTube, if you want to see videos of the Titanic wreckage, okay, put Titanic wreckage. And right there, you'll be watching it at the comfort of your own home. But why? I don't know what is with people, like this guy right here, why he had an obsession with the Titanic, go down there where the Titanic was. And this is something that I want to say. If the Titanic is there, I mean, it is there, duh. But people want to explore. Me personally, I think, look, that area is cursed. Like, I don't believe in curses, because I'm just saying that area is... No, actually, I didn't mean to say cursed. I meant to say that whole area is damned, because that's where the Titanic sank. And look what happened years later. The Oceangate Titan imploded just to go see the wreckage of a ship that crashed and sank 100+ years ago. And honestly, for Stockton Rush to go down there to explore the Titanic, the wreckage of the Titanic, me personally, I believe that that's something, that area, it was not an area that man was not meant to disturb. Bad things have happened. Look what happened with the Oceangate Titan. That area it's an area that man was not meant to. It's not meant to disturb. Was and never will be meant to disturb. And yet, there's always been stories that they're constructing the Titanic again, and they're going to go through the same route where it sank. Me personally, I think that's a stupid idea. You know, but I mean, I don't know. Like, what can I say about this tragedy? You know, it sucks that this happened because of this dude's greediness. And if you want to know, this is just my opinion. I personally, like, I'm no expert, but I firmly believe that this guy was a sociopath. That's what I believe. And this is another one. This really caught the attention of me. This is one on Reddit. This is Oceangate Titan. It was written 307 days ago by Garrett Watts. He said this: I just realized something pretty wild about Stockton Rush. And this is what he said, and I quote, I'm saying this with all due respect to the deceased, but it just occurred to me today that based on the absolutely mind-boggling speed of his final moments, Stockton never had a moment to realize, quote, they were right, I was wrong. I don't necessarily have a strong point saying this, just something I thought about today and I thought I'd share. I personally believe he is, just, like I said, he is a sociopath, a narcissist, arrogant sociopath. It's a hard pill to swallow because, and I'm also reading here that in early October of last year, engineers recovered the rest of the debris and presumed human remains. Ugh. That is sad. And it says here that they concluded that the failure of the carbon fiber hull was the most likely cause of the loss, given that no large pieces of carbon fiber are known to have ever been recovered. Another possible cause was the acrylic viewing window. He noted that the window was absent from the bell housing when it was recovered. While the salvage team may have removed the window before salvaging its bell housing, they more likely would have left it in its place. However, Graham Jones said that the window had failed before the hull rather than after. He would have expected a larger piece of the carbon fiber to be recovered. So right now, in conclusion, if other billionaires, like what happened, like let's see what happened a couple of years, I don't know, it was last year, a couple of years ago, that I believe it was Elon Musk who sent like celebrities to space that included William Shatner. Look, I'm no fan of Elon Musk because I'm not, but I don't think this dude would ever cut corners to send people to space with his space rockets and all that stuff. At least Elon Musk knows what he's doing. Stockton Rush did not know at all what the fuck he was doing at all. It was an amateur-based submersible that cut corners for safety, just for this fucking guy to charge people $250,000 just to take a trip to go see the wreckage of a ship that crashed and sank 100+ years ago. It's like your typical billionaire, you know. So, to the people who died, the other people, may they rest in peace. And it's a shame that they're no longer alive. But to Stockton Rush, you can go fuck yourself. You sorry piece of shit. Greedy motherfucker. So that about wraps up for this week's podcast, people. Next week I will be back the usual schedule on Monday. Like I said, last week I didn't record. I sincerely apologize. So I will see you all next week, and thank you all for listening. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.